What's happening, YouTube? Jonathan Pariente, the Education 10 here, coming at you guys with another video. I want to ask you guys to please continue to check and subscribe to my channel for more YouTube videos. You can also listen to my podcast, Downtown Sports. We're on Spotify for creators, many other platforms to follow. You can also listen to us next week. We're going to be on the Professional Fanatics podcast live stream. Had one of their podcast hosts on our episode last week. It was Rob Simmons. Shout out to you, Rob. It was a pleasure to have you on with us to discuss fantasy football and all other sports. And we will do it again next week, midnight, Wednesday. But we're here to talk about the epic near 7-hour game, 18 innings. Blue Jays Dodgers, Game 3 of the World Series. And I think many of you can agree, and many people were talking about it following the end of the game. Probably one of the most classic playoff World Series games we've seen in years. So I think the Dodgers actually played an 18-inning game barely 7 years ago against the Red Sox in 2018. This one didn't go quite as long as that one, but still. But it came down to the end. It came down to the wire. Both teams exhausted their bullpen. You had the Dodgers possibly warming up Yamamoto, who pitched a complete game literally in Game 2, just 2 days ago, with the possibility of if this game went to a 19th inning. And it almost did. But in the end, Freddie Freeman struck again in the World Series, a walk-off solo home run off of Brendan Little, and the Dodgers took game number 3 to go up 2-1 in the World Series. And now it makes things a whole lot more interesting now as we go into the 4th game. Tonight will be Shane Bieber against Shohei Ohtani. And of course, Shohei's not only had a great performance pitching, but he's had an amazing performance in the playoffs with his bat. And he did it again last night, going 4 for 4 with 2 home runs. Kind of start the scoring off. I'll just go kind of through the scoring very quickly. Dodgers struck first early against Scherzer. 2 home runs, first Teoscar Hernandez, and then Shohei made it 2-0. All right, so Dodgers had a 2-0 lead. 4th inning now. You feel like, all right, Glasnow gives you a decent amount of length. I think the Dodgers will be fine. The bullpen can end it. But the Blue Jays, they got to Glasnow in the 5th inning. They struck. 3-run homer, Alejandro Kirk. Error by the Dodgers also in the inning, which led to the home run. Then a couple other hits strung together, and then a sacrifice fly. Blue Jays went up 4-2. So the Dodgers had to answer back. And they did in the 6th. RBI double for Shohei Ohtani. RBI single for Freddie Freeman. Tied up at 4. So now you go to the 7th, and now it's a battle of the bullpen now. Scherzer, Glasnow are out of the game, and this is where the bullpen battle went all the way to the end. But first, the Blue Jays got the lead back. After Guerrero reached, a 2-out single scored Guerrero all the way from first off the bat of Bo Bichette. Teoscar Hernandez misplayed a ball a little bit in the corner, took a bad hop on him. All right, so the Blue Jays go up 5-4. So now we're in the 7th. You like the chances here. Maybe the Blue Jays steal this game. But back came the Dodgers once more, bottom of the 7th. And of course, who should tie the game? Shohei Ohtani again. Solo home run, tied the game at 5. And from here on, it became a war of attrition for the rest of this game. A battle of bullpens. Some great plays in the outfield, including, Teoscar Hernandez would end up getting another shot to make a play in the outfield, again following Bo Bichette's single. The Blue Jays tried to do it twice after Lucas hit a drive down the line. Davis Schneider was coming around. Thought he would score, but this time Teoscar Hernandez did not get a bad hop. He had a clean fielding play, and he delivered a strike, and they gunned out Schneider at home. And at that point, it took the bat out of Guerrero's hand. He would have been the next one to hit. So you thought, all right, this is the Dodgers' chance. They were going to win the game right here. They did not convert. Fast forward a few more innings. Both sides got some base runners on. Jays were walking Ohtani intentionally after the 4 hits. They didn't want to even risk having him beat them. But in the end, no damage. Both teams were down to their final reliever. Dodgers got 4 innings out of Will Klein. I'm amazed he even went 4. I didn't even think he was capable of going that deep in a game, but he did. The Blue Jays got 4 innings out of Eric Lauer, and they were trying to hold off their last reliever for quite some time. They finally ended up going to Brendan Little, who was their last arm. And finally, after just back and forth, both teams just squandering opportunities with base runners, finally, in the bottom of the 18th inning, Freddie Freeman hit a walk-off home run off Little, and the Dodgers won the game 6-5. So now as we go to Game 4, both teams are going to be completely wiped of their bullpen. So you have to wonder who took more damage as far as pitching is concerned from Game 3. Who got the weaker end of this game? Even though the Dodgers won the game, is it going to have an effect in Game 4? It very much likely could. You have Shane Bieber going for the Blue Jays tonight against Shohei Ohtani. Now, Ohtani can give the Dodgers length. He's done it before. You're going to need length from him tonight for certain, with maybe a couple arms that you're really going to have realistically available to try to piece together the game. So you have Bonda. He didn't throw a lot of pitches. I think he went 5 pitches. Blake Trinan threw 15, so he should be fine. You did have to bring in Kershaw, but he only pitched to 1 batter. But I don't know if Kershaw is going to pitch again this series. I just don't see that happening. But you never know. We've seen the great ones say to their manager, hey, give me the ball. I don't mind taking the ball and throwing another inning or 2 if you need me to. So this is really, in the World Series, this is where it's all hands on deck. So maybe Kershaw will throw another inning. Who knows? Then you have to look at the rest of the way. The Blue Jays, they had to use up some of their guys. Hoffman threw 2 innings. He threw over 30 pitches, so he likely can't go. You had Lauer go 4 innings. He definitely can't go. The Dodgers had Klein go 4 innings. He can't go. It got to a point, if Yamamoto was going to come in, that could have been disaster for the Dodgers. And very luckily, for the moment, it's not. But Game 4 is going to be, honestly, the Blue Jays have to win Game 4. If the Dodgers take Game 4, this series is over. The Blue Jays also unfortunately got hit with injuries. George Springer, he had to leave the game early. Left side injury while he was swinging. That usually means oblique. And if it's an oblique, I don't think Springer can play. And that's going to be trouble for Toronto because that was one of your best hitters in the playoffs. That was one of your protection guys in the lineup with Guerrero behind you. And it significantly weakens the Blue Jays lineup if you take Springer's bat out. So now you're going to have to force IKF to play the infield. Not as good a hitter. Bo Bichette, yeah, you'll keep his bat, but he's really beat up right now, and he's still coming back from being hurt, so you don't know how much infield he could play. Likely he's going to have to DH. And again, if the game goes on where the Blue Jays have a lead, and then they have to sub out their big hitters, which they had to do last night, including taking out Alejandro Kirk to put in Heineman, their last position player they had, it's going to make this very difficult. So both starters, if you're the Blue Jays and the Dodgers, you're going to need to hope you get length. But because both these lineups tire out the opposing team's pitcher, they don't strike out much, and they put the ball in play so much, and they foul off so many pitches, I beg to differ if either of them is going to provide that type of length. But we will see. But like I said, the Blue Jays need to win Game 4 a lot more than the Dodgers do. Whoever wins this game could decide could decide the World Series in the long run here. Even though I think Game 3 might be the one that defined this whole series as far as who wins it. But Dave Roberts, John Schneider have to make some tough decisions now as far as how to manage their pen, how they're going to approach this Game 4 with virtually almost no pitching available for them. Only a small handful of arms they'll probably be able to go to, and obviously got to hope this game does not go to another extra inning game and go as deep as Game 3 did. But we're going to find out. We're going to see. That's why the World Series is played. This is why you see the amazing playoff baseball that people maybe don't always talk about. A lot of people tune out baseball during the regular season. They wait for this particular moment. The postseason where all the magic really happens. So we're going to find out. Game 4, tonight, 8 o'clock on Fox. Ohtani, Bieber. Who's going to go out there and take this game? Stay tuned. Jonathan Pariente, The Education 10, saying bye for now.